Hey everyone, welcome back. And this time I wanted to speak about, I think we need to go into the mood of the nation. I know I said I was going to speak about the races, but I'm feeling conflicted about it because, I'm beginning to see, like the polls, people are like, I mean, with like the Ted Cruz and the Beto, I mean, my readings was just like, hey, look, it's a really close race. It looks like Cruz is, may not make it across the line, and Beto will, because Beto had some great cards for him. And then, and like here in Arizona, we have, for a long time, the Democrat was on top, and now the polls are moving. And I think when you guys need to listen, when you guys see all of these polls, it should really just be crystal clear to you that you do need to get out and vote. You do need to go out and make your voice heard. I think the polls are now polling people most likely to vote, and the Republicans are very well motivated. They are extremely motivated because they fear the blue wave. So they're going to try to make a push. They're not just going to roll over and play dead. It's just not the way it is. We got a very, we have a president who is out there saying the words that he's saying, and you have the Democrats who are seeming to me getting a spine. They're getting a message across versus, and maybe that means they should do an update on the Republicans and Democrats and how the midterms are going, because when I did the original one, the Democrats didn't have a voice. They didn't have a message yet. They seem to have a message now, so that whole reading could shift now. That whole reading could be totally different than what it was when I first did it a couple months ago. So right now I want to just focus on the mood of the nation, and I want to see where that mood is, and I want to see and see where we're going. I mean, because I think the people can be very, very stressed out right now. And we don't want to be stressed out. We want to be determined. You need to go make your vote, make your voice heard. Don't be moving into violence or nothing like that, but definitely make your voice heard. Definitely do your voting, because that's what counts. So, all right, so let's move in. Let's go in and let's see what we can find out about the mood of a nation, right? Let's see what the mood of the nation is, where it's going. So what I'm looking at is, I'm looking at the collective energy, the collective mood, not the individual mood. And it could show up both sides of the coins. Especially if it's very even, but if it's not very even, then you just have a smaller majority speaking louder than the other side. So I want to see what the collective is, because I think there's fear, and we should not have fear, because that's what they want. They want fear. They want you to vote against your best interests. So, all right. Now, if there was a good Republican, which I know there is, okay, then I think that the cards would show that they're going to do good. If there's somebody being nefarious, that would be Republican or even Democrat. I would assume that the cards would show that too. So we're not going to pretend that all side's good and all side's bad. But right now, in my viewpoint, with seeing what has been occurring with the type of laws being passed for the rich and harming the average person, I'm not inclined to think that the Republicans are great. Now, we have some new kids coming into the block, and I'm hopeful for them, whether they be Republicans or Democrats. So we'll just have to take a look at them eventually. But right now, I want to focus on the mood of the collective. So here we go. So what's the mood of the collective? All right, let's see what we got. What is the overarching? So we're fighting. Okay, the mood is feeling like they have to win at all costs. All right, There's this win at all cost mood. It's fighting. It's to be victorious, and it is. I would say it is. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of battling going on. It is definitely, you can see the rise of the determination of the Republicans and the determinations of the Democrats, and a lot of independents are also getting very motivated too, as they are making their decisions as we head into the November 6th elections. So we have the overarching theme is we have a lot of fighting. Okay, so the collective is definitely going to make themselves known. That's what they're planning. So the past. Okay. The past. So here we are with the agreements card. Okay. The agreements card is, the lovers, this is, new relationships, new agreements, new things, people coming together and doing things. So I think that people were hoping that, people will be coming together. Or this could be that, I don't know if this would be going too far in the past. I think that this is now people coming together. The collective is starting to come together in terms of, making agreements to make things forward, to move things forward into the elections. So the mood is that people are starting to gather, they're starting to work together, they're starting to make moves where they would not make moves before, So I think they're becoming more involved. That's what I kind of feel. All right. So this is the present. The present is strength. Okay. So there's a lot of inner strength going on. There is two kinds of strength happening within this energy. That you have the inner strength, the inner reflection, the inner strength of the people of not only just, the Me Too movements. You're dealing with the strength of people wanting change. There is the strength of, it's just that where you feel like you have no power. Now we're in an election cycle where the votes are important and that your voice is heard. There's that inner strength, there's that confidence of inner strength moving forward. The other part is that there's also a show of strength by those who are currently in power, of trying not to lose their seats or trying to hold on to their seats. So there's a lot of strength pushing forward. So there's a lot of strength. So the whole fighting, the gathering together, the strength of the collective pulling forward. The challenge is change. Okay. Now, this is, when you're sitting here, this could be a wanted change. This is a needed change. The challenge, or this is you're fearing the change. You're afraid of the change. So, the collective, I would really say, is that there's a sense of fear because you fear the change. And because it's one thing to be angry and be upset about all the fighting, but that is at least a known variable, it's known. So you're not afraid. When you have change that is so dramatic, the fear of the unknown is what can bring anxiety, right? If you don't know what's going to happen, it brings anxiety. And there's a lot of anxiety right now because people are going, if we don't get the change that we want, or like people to say, if they want the blue wave, the fear is that not happening. Or you have the other side fearing that if they do lose, they lose that power and they don't know what's going to happen. It could even be, the people that are fearful that, if certain elements occur, it's going to put us in a path that, people don't understand. So there's a lot of fear that the change is a fear. And if a lot of people, if you want to kind of look at it, this is usually your crossing. Okay. So, but that's why I put this as a challenge. So it's easy to see that. So the fear is this change. Okay. So what happens in the outcome? So this nostalgia, see, I think this is what we were talking about. The fear of the change is that you hang on to what you know. Change is hard. Change is frightening, and it could be exciting change. It could be change you want, but still the unknown variable can cause a little bit of anxiety. So the idea of understanding that fear and in letting it go forward. This is the nostalgia card, people looking back in the past. It could be a reflection of the past because, you know, whether or not this change forces it forward to have us reflect upon the change that has occurred, about what has happened in the past. But this also could be change that will be able to, you know, because you see, you know, them giving flowers to children, to be able to make change that will help the youth in the future, right? Because a lot of those youth are already coming of age into voting. They need to get out and vote. And you have others who are watching and paying attention, who will be of age to vote in 2020. So this is the constant cycle. Okay. So let's add more. So let's look at the underlying emotions, or the underlying situations to this. So we have the agreements. So let's do the past. All right. So this fighting. Okay. So people have agreed now that we have agreed that it's no longer okay not to vote, right? Because if you don't vote, you get where we are now. So it's about moving that forward. So they have agreed to fight for that. So I think this is that fighting energy that supports this agreement to come together. Yeah, okay? So let's moving on. And we have this strength. So, okay, we were talking about this worry. So in the present right now, we're gaining strength, but we are also, it's also very worrying. The collective is extremely worried. And when I talk about the collective, I'm talking about the United States collective. The collective is extraordinarily worried. They are anxiety induced, and we've been discussing that with the death card, right? So right now, there's a lot of worry. Will it happen? Will it not happen? I mean, everybody's been predicting this blue wave, but will, you know, with the poll numbers that are coming up, you know, the Republicans are lurching forward. It's anxiety inducing, right? And but the thing is, you can't just go, well, it's not going to matter. It does matter, because enough of you say it doesn't matter, then everything goes the other side's way, you know? So you have to move forward. You have to go make your vote so that it is a legitimate vote. You know, your voice needs to be heard. All right, here's the challenge. All right, the challenge is the inner reflection. Okay, this is the High Priestess. It's the inner challenge. These are some really huge cards. These are majors, really major cards, right? So we've got a lot of situations that are moving. I would probably say these are situations that are beyond, you know, our control. So it's pretty much like a fated thing. It is moving forward. Okay, this is the inner reflection. I think the collective is finally reflecting inwards. They go, is this really what we want? But you still have the nervousness for that change that is going to happen, that inevitable change. What type of change is going to be determined by how you vote. So, all right. All right, let's see what the outcome is. So the outcome is word. Good news. News will come forward, you know, so we're looking forward to getting word. We're looking forward to good news, okay? So that's really what the collective wants. The collective wants good news, right? We want good news. We want what's good for, you know, what's happened in the past is what happened in the past. We need to focus on the present and the future of how everything that is going on right now is going to affect things for our children, for the youth that is coming forward. They will be old enough to vote eventually. And the collective wants good news. Okay? It wants good news. The collective wants good news because we're so stressed out. Very stressed out. Okay? So let's look at the last row here. All right. We want the sword of truth. Okay. So I think this would go back to when one of the readings with the animal spirit card deck, we're talking about we see clearly now, right? We see clearly now. We are going to make things go forward, make things move forward. So we have in the past, we've made an agreement. We're going to fight for what we want, not just sit idly by. We don't got a hangman here. There's no idleness. You're going to fight for what you believe in, and you're going to carry that sword of truth. So now the sword of truth obviously can cut both ways. So it's going to be really hard for us to, so you can see it from both sides. The sword is a double-edged sword. You have one side cutting one way, the other side cutting one way. They're both going for that truth, whether or not, or it's their version of the truth. It's all perception. Everything is perception here. Okay? Currently, we have this new energy. So there's new ideas moving forward. All right. So I really think that the collective has some new energy, new burst of speeds. They are definitely have some new ideas, and I think they're putting it in motion. So these are motivating factors, right? The fighting, this is motivating currently in the present. You've got some strength. The strength is building. There's anxiety, and people are like, we can't let this continue. So they get some new ideas, and they're pushing those forward. So they're taking these things and creating this, right? The challenge is the lovers, the agreements. So, is it going to be enough? See, look at this. 3 majors. We're sitting in a situation that is fated. I mean, it's been said before with the Wheel of Fortune, you could see it. You can see everything. This is a cycle that is needed to happen. Right? So it's when you're looking at the death, the inner reflection, and now you have the Lover's card, which could very well also be who each person is in bed with. Who is stronger? Is the side that is to the donors stronger, or is it to the constituents? Is that stronger? You have this duality, this balance that's just not quite meeting in the middle, right? So this is going to be an issue, I think, is the people trying to decide and try to figure out who these people are in bed with, right? The people who are doing it. So this is definitely these challenges are, I think they're going to happen. I think it's just a matter of how the collective handles them. Okay, because these are major fated cards. These are not cards like in the minor arcanas where they're situations that we have control of or we caused it. This is kind of a fated energy, the meaning that this is beyond the control, but these are the energies that exist that we're going to have to move through. Okay. So let's see what the outcome is. All right. So we have some not liking what we see. All right. But there's some good. We just have to be able to see it. Right. So the thing is the collective is, when you're looking at the collective as a whole, some people just aren't going to like it. They're just not going to like the outcome. And then but they have to be able to see the gift that is being handed to them, right? The opportunity that's being handed to them. Not everybody is going to like what they see. Some people will see only these and not this. Some people will see this. But there's a little bit of lethargy. Could be tired. Could be mentally drained. We're wanting hope. We're wanting good word. Not everybody's going to get good word. So it's not going to be as much as everybody wants. Right? This fighting is going to cause this. Okay? All right. But we have a new beginning. All right. So regardless, no matter how everybody feels, this is going to bring a new beginning. There's a new change coming. It is, you know, we'll get a helping hand. It's going to move forward. So I think the collective is going through a battering right now. Everybody is going through it. And I'm telling you, it doesn't even matter. This reading, it doesn't even matter whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, or if you're a Trump supporter, or if you're not. I mean, this is definitely showing that the collective of the United States is embattled right now. We are embattled. We are moving through motions. There's a lot of energy that is beyond our controls. It's something we are going to have to go through. We're going to have to learn from it to get better. You know, we want the good word, you know, but we got to be okay. If you don't get it, we're going to continue moving forward because it's going to bring something new. All right. This is part of the journey. This is part of where we're going. So I think this is really important to understand so that we can move forward when you're making your decision. And this is definitely telling you, you got to make it, you got to go out and make it happen. Okay. No matter what cards say, things are moving extraordinarily fast. I mean, I know I've been away for a week, but and so much has happened since I have been gone. And now that I'm back, and I'm thinking, darn, wow, so much has changed. So much has changed. Nothing stays the same. It's literally on a steamroll. We're in a chariot. It is going, and it's moving. So even if, you know, you do any sort of, you know, reading, it can give you a general idea of what the situation is going on at that moment, but it's going to be up to you guys to really make it in the end. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I will speak to you next time. Thanks. Bye.